Day one of the 2024 NFL Draft is over and done with, and Joe Schoen made a great pick by selecting the playmaking wide receiver Malik Nabers out of LSU. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Marshall Green. In today's video, I am going to give you my grade for the pick of Nabers to the Giants at number 6 overall. There was multiple ways the Giants could have went with this selection. Rome Odunze was still on the board. J.J. McCarthy was still on the board, as was Nabers, and that is going to be the selection. Some of my overall thoughts on this pick is you get the second best player in the draft at the wide receiver position, which was one of the major needs for this football team. In my last mock draft, I had the Giants selecting Malik Nabers number 6 overall. I'm a major fan of what he brings to the game. One of my favorite things about him is he's not going to be 21 years old until the 2024 season kicks off. Still just 20 years old, still a lot of time to grow as a person, a player, and as an athlete. Just a hair over 6 foot, 200 pounds, can do a lot of things with the football in his hands. And we'll talk more about that around the corner, but I want to hear from you in the comments section right now. I know there's some people upset the Giants did not get a quarterback. Well, Marshall, who's going to throw Malik Nabers the ball? We're going to find out, and we'll be okay. But I want you to grade the pick of Malik Nabers. Be honest. Get out your red pen for me. A, B, C, D, or F. To cheat a little bit, I'm going to go A+. And I told you guys 2 months ago on this channel that if the Giants are able to find a way to land Malik Nabers in round 1, I was going to give it an A+ pick. And now I believe that even more so in the fact that the Giants passed up on the opportunity to select J.J. McCarthy to and then choose Malik Nabers makes me stamped, in my opinion, of it being an A+. I think McCarthy is going to be good in this league. I would have been okay if he was a Giant, but I don't know if he was the right spot and the right player for the Giants at the spot they were picking at. I can say that Malik Nabers was the right pick at that spot. He is worthy of being the wide receiver 1 in almost any other draft class. Here at Chat Sports, our NFL draft insider, Tom Downey, had him as the number 2 player in this class overall, only behind Marvin Harrison Jr. and the number 2 wide receiver. Dane Brugler of The Athletic said that Nabers would have been his best prospect in the 2022 draft as well as the 2023 draft. He is an explosive, big play machine with dynamic ability once the ball is in his hands. He is a threat to go the distance every single time he touches it. When you talk about start, stop, stopping on a dime, changing your direction of the way you want to run, nobody in this class, in my humble opinion, does it better than Malik Nabers. An absolute game changer with the ball in his hands. And we know the Giants have not had a wide receiver 1 since Odell Beckham was traded from the Giants to the Cleveland Browns. A lot of people actually compare Malik Nabers to Odell Beckham Jr. I see him more of a light of a guy like Antonio Brown with a little bit more pop. I think he's going to be a stud, can line up outside, can line up in the slot. That's what I really, really like about him. And we'll talk more about him. We'll look at his pro day and stuff like that and some stats overall. And we'll talk about who the Giants should target in day 2. But first, I got to make sure you're subscribed so you join us for our live day 2 coverage of the NFL Draft here on Giants Now by Chat Sports. I want to give a major shout out to everybody that tuned in tonight, was trying to juggle doing the Knicks game as well as the Giants draft. No Knicks game tomorrow. We're dialed in, day 2 coverage of the draft. More Malik Nabers around the corner, but first I got to tell you about our proud sponsor, Game Time. Download the Game Time app, use the promo code ChatSports, and get hooked up with the best ticketing app and save $20 off on your first purchase. I'm a big fan of Game Time for multiple reasons. I love the fact that the prices drop as the events get closer. Also, you get the lowest price, guaranteed. Maybe you want to go catch a Yankees game this summer in the Bronx. Want to go see Juan Soto play, Aaron Judge and the crew. Maybe you're a Mets fan. You want to go see them play. Maybe you want to catch a Knicks game or a Rangers game. You just want to go to a comedy show. You want to go to a theater event, a concert. You can do all of those things with our proud sponsor, Game Time. I use them to go see Dead and Company this summer. I used Game Time to buy my tickets to the Knicks versus Mavericks game, and I'm going to do the same when I get out to New York this summer to go catch a Bronx Bombers game. You can do the same. You can save $20 off by using that promo code ChatSports. Download the Game Time app, Do so by opening up the App Store on your mobile device. Use the promo code ChatSports and save yourself $20 off. It's the best ticketing app in the game. I promise you, you're going to love it. Check them out. Big, big shout out to our sponsor, Game Time. So we talk about how explosive of a player Malik Nabers is and is going to be. He did not test at the NFL scouting combine. So there's different numbers going around that were clocked when he was at his combine. On our graphics, we're going to say 4.38. Other graphics, they're going to say 4.35. Either way, it's one of the best times. It's graded out almost in the 97th percentile. Explosiveness, start-stop. I think that was very well shown in his 10-yard split as well as his 20-yard split. 97th percentile, 1.5 seconds and 10 yards, and then 2.5 and 20 yards. That's 98th percentile. 42-inch vertical, 99th percentile. He's got a broad jump in the 94th percentile. Did not do the short shuttle or the three-cone drill, but I don't think we need to see that. All you got to do is watch the film, and you can see how much of a start-stop great athlete he is. The Athletics' Dane Brugler, with a little bit of write-up of him, had him at his third overall prospect, says that Nabers has only average size and strength at 6'200", but he offers a dynamic potential because of his ability to accelerate, decelerate on command, and always making himself available with his athletic catch point skills. And that was on display not just this year for the LSU Tigers, but last year as well. When you talk about Nabers as a player, he can line up in the slot. He can line up outside. Had 89 grabs last year for the Bayou Bengals, almost 1,600 yards, an average yards per catch of 18, and he had 14 touchdowns. A lot of people say, Marshall, he's just a screen guy. Simply not true. He had the 68th most yards in the country when it comes to screens, but he was number 6th when it comes to slot yards at 991. He was just 113th in screen catches, so he's not someone that gets a lot of screens. He can, but he will take the top off the defense. He had 19 catches that classified as deep catches. That's number 2 in the country. He was 4th in deep yards. And we talk about the type of athlete he is when the ball's in his hands. He made tacklers miss 30 times last year. That's 4th most in college football, and he averaged 6.6 yards per catch yards after the catch. He had 418 yards after the catch last year and 589 this year. Special player, he immediately is the best wide receiver on this football team. Your updated look at the New York Giants wide receiver depth chart. Malik Nabers, he's going to step in. He's going to be your wide receiver 1. He's going to change life for this receiving core, this offense, and maybe even Daniel Jones. Still got Darius Slayton, still got Jalen Hyatt, and you still got Wan'Dale Robinson. You have now added and used a lot of draft capital at this wide receiver position. A number 6 overall pick on Malik Nabers, a 2nd-round pick on Wan'Dale Robinson, and a 3rd-round pick on Jalen Hyatt last year. So you've now used draft capital on that position. You need to have success. And I don't really want to hear any more excuses for Daniel Jones. Got a 1st-round receiver, a 2nd-round receiver, and a 3rd-round receiver, and Darius Slayton, who's led the team in receiving for what seems like every single year since Odell Beckham Jr. has left. I give it an A+ grade. I'm a massive fan. This is my number 3 dream scenario for the Giants, and I'm happy to watch him play football for this team on Sundays for the foreseeable future. Let's take a quick look at tomorrow. The Giants own the 47th pick in the NFL draft, meaning they will pick with the 15th selection. That comes from the Seattle Seahawks from that Leonard Williams trade. And you talk about who will the Giants look to target. If I talk about positions that I'm wanting for them to attack, it starts at the cornerback position. I want to see them go out there and add someone on the boundary that can help a guy like Deonte Banks. If it's not corner, I'm looking at the interior of the defensive line. Let's start with corners. There's still some really good ones left. And a guy like Kool-Aid McKinstry. He was really good at Alabama this year. Maybe a guy like Cooper DeJean, who ended up sliding at around 1. If you want to go on the interior defensive line type of thing, Johnny Newton would be a great player for the Giants to select. Probably got to trade up in round 2 to get a guy like Newton, McKinstry, or Cooper DeJean. Those are my top 3 targets as we currently speak. Giants save some draft capital, but are not moving up. Maybe they look to package some picks and select a guy at the top of round 2. Then you got a guy like Edric Cooper, linebacker, Texas A&M. I love me some Mikey Sanders still. The do-it-all defensive back out of Michigan. I'll be totally fine if that was the pick. And then maybe we got Braden Fisk, the interior defensive lineman from Florida State. So if I'm talking about players that likes the Giants pick, Braden Fisk would be one of those. Mike Sanders still. Johnny Newton, Cooper DeJean, or Kool-Aid McKinstry. Those are my top 5 players at this current moment. I would like to see the Giants pick at 47. I want to hear from you, though. Who do you want the Giants to pick in round 2? Give me a name down in the comment section. If the Giants were to get any of the 5 I talked about, it would be a home run, just like it was in round 1, selecting Malik Nabers. We'll see you tomorrow live on the channel. And if you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up icon.